Okay, but what if you don't have a teacher or partner to work with? Can you still use this cycle to improve your learning? Yeah, sure. If you don't really have native speakers to interact with, well, the next best thing is to look for authentic materials like comic books or magazines and that sort of thing from the country. So if you're learning Japanese, well, manga is a great tool. Even though the experience might not be as real as actually having to talk to another human being, you are still experiencing the language by reading it. The reflection part comes when, instead of just blazing through to get to the end, you stop occasionally and think about what you're reading. What's the meaning of this word or this group of words? What's the function of this particular grammar or these prepositions? That sort of thing. Like, one thing I noticed when I was reading manga, and I didn't get this when I was reading these like academic textbooks and stuff, was that there are a ton of ways just to say I in the Japanese language. You know, in English we just have I, and I'm pretty sure in many languages it's the same. But in Japanese they have things like watashi, atashi, boku, ore, and things like that. It works like this. You're reading this manga, that's the experience part. You encounter these different ways of saying I, like watashi and boku. So you stop occasionally and ask, what does this mean? And you check your dictionary. That's the reflection part. Next, after you notice that they all have the same definition in English, which is I, you stop and say, well, why? Why are there so many different ways to say I in Japanese? That's the conceptualization part. So maybe you even get stuck. If you don't have any native speakers to ask, you're like, I don't know why. What do you do here? You go back to the experience part, right? You keep reading. So as you read more and more manga, a pattern starts to emerge. You start to notice that the female characters say watashi or atashi a lot more, and the male characters say boku or ore a lot more. So again, you ask yourself what's going on, you reflect, why is this happening, you conceptualize, and then you come up with an idea. Maybe Japanese has a distinction between masculine ways of saying I and feminine ways of saying I. That's the experimentation part. So you bring all that back to the experience by continuing to read, and you see that this pattern, or rather this hypothesis of this pattern that you had, seems to be true. Boom, you've learned something new. So as you can see, there are a ton of ways to apply this process, whether or not you have somebody to help you or you're a self-studier. Awesome, so the intention of this video is just to give you guys a really quick rundown of what this process looks like in a more concrete way. I hope it was helpful to you, and if you have any questions or wonder how this can apply to the way you're studying a language, whatever it may be, please leave a comment below or send me a message. And I hope to give you a lot more of these quick concrete tips in the future. Please check them out. Peace.